one game away. Blow up. We're playing for something, man. We're playing for something. Just gotta mean something to you. They gotta mean something. Everything you got. Everything you got. Let's finish this.
Do it, fellas.
Let's go.
Let's do it, fellas.
Finish 2-3. 1, 2, 3. Finish.
You ready to make history? Come on now. Yeah. You know, there's these two words. And when I say them, people get goosebumps cause they know what happens next. So without further ado,
free smoke.
Look, scared cause I'm drowning in silence with bad thoughts. These days I don't have nothing to say, man, the bag talks. I put in headphones on my driver. Pull up to the spot and give a good dick and Godiva. I can't lie, I'm uninspired. No more pillow talking about nonsense. I only stick around to put some band-aids on my conscience. I don't know why I feel so bad, nigga. That's what we do, no foundation. We don't build no more, we just screw. Half a bottle of Henny, girl, I'm going with the wind. The same niggas say they happy for me, ain't want me to win. So I'm done on my friends. Don't need help popping Coronas and reminiscing. I just call up Big Bro J and say it's time for venting. If I live forever, I hold this hate for some centuries. You don't know how much I have you doing what it meant to me, but motherfuck all that. I don't even offer up the time to make the call back. Stupid Lodo, if they don't get the picture now, man, I crop them out of the photo. I can't relate to my peers. Been doing this shit for years. I'm motivated by fears. I took the wheel and I steer. My sound not dictated by fuck boys in Atlanta. Stay gifted like this album was ghost written by Santa. Boss forever like they decided to throw me under slammer. Every song's a hit like they picture me underhanders. I could drop a million songs, but they never gon' understand us. Soapbox sermons for niggas never giving chances. Fight our whole lives to get these weak ass advances. Work twice as hard for the shit that they getting handed. And this ain't even nothing we chose, nigga, we branded. Still can't tell why all of these niggas mad at me. I'm trying to get 100 so I can put my team on salary. Give it all to the art, man, I turn my life to a gallery. Man, damn, what a fucked up masterpiece. 1,100 shots and I swear, man, I felt them all. If we ain't even good on our blocks, man, who can we call? Pre-decline state of mind, we broke crabs in the barrel. Got us fighting our folk, man, this shit just a life of peril.
Poor tackling.
What happened between you and Talib on the field early in the game?
I don't know, you gonna ask him, cause he didn't finish the game. Ice up, son, ice up.
You know, sometimes I be watching superhero movies and whatnot, and I be thinking to myself as I'm watching it, if the bad guy just want to rule the world, like if some of the bad guys be like, I want to rule the world, or I want to, you know, cleanse the world of whatever, basically exterminate everybody. Who would you rule if you kill everybody? Also, why do all bad guys just want to, you know what I'm saying, like kill everybody? I don't really get it. It just feel like a lot of these bad guys just a bunch of psychopaths, narcissists, and all that type of stuff. Why don't we make real bad guys? You know what I'm saying? Like bad guys with a real purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like Thanos, people keep saying, oh, Thanos is right. Thanos is right. Bro, Thanos could have created more crops, more food, more animals in order to overpopulate the world of resources to where we basically never run out. He didn't choose to do that. He chose to kill everybody. So, you know, for the people who out there who still saying Thanos is right, Thanos is right, Thanos is right, bro, you're probably white and retarded. Oh, you can't say retarded. So you're probably white and a dumbass. Put it like that. Because I don't understand this logic. However, if you was a bad guy who did shit like destroyed all the cigarettes in the world. Matter of fact, don't even destroy the cigarettes. Destroy up all the tobacco. You know how pissed people gonna be when they come home and they need a smoke? You know how pissed people gonna be when they can't go on smoke break? Destroy all the ABC stores. Yes, sir. Destroy every ABC store. Do you know how unlit parties will be without alcohol? I'm trying to tell you. Steal every front door to every house in America, in the world, matter of fact. Now you might be saying, bro, how could he do that? I'm a bad guy, bro. Don't worry about that. It's like my homies was asking me at work yesterday, yo, if you could have any power, what would it be? I said, fuck it, electricity. Because one of my homies said he wanted to teleport. And I was like, nah, I don't really want to teleport. Like, it would be nice to be able to, if I need to be somewhere, boom, I'm there immediately. I ain't got to drive and all that. However, if I'm constantly teleporting, like he was like, he could be in Rome, he could be it. And I'm like, yo, yeah, you could go to sleep in, you know, the United States, wake up in Italy or something like that. However, you know, if you travel you could travel the whole world in probably like what, a couple days if you could teleport instantly anywhere. I don't know. It feel like that would lose its allure real quick. And then how the hell you know where you popping up? I'm not even going, we didn't even get into detail about that. We just imagine that, you know, for the powers, we experts at handling the power. So he gonna know where he pop up at. But I just wasn't feeling it. And so then I was like, fuck it. I have electricity. I can control all type of electricity, thunder, storms, all that. Like basically like Thor. And my homie came to me like 2 minutes later and was like, you don't want to talk to animals, be able to have the ability to talk to all animals? I was like, why would I want to talk to animals? What purpose would that power serve me? He was like, you don't know what you could do with all the animals? I say, bro, I don't want to be friends with the food that I eat. No. And so then my homie also started to agree with me, one of my other homies. And as my other homie still trying to convince us that we want to have powers to talk to animals, I say, you know what? I'm a bad guy. I light the whole ocean up, bro. I electrocute the whole ocean, kill every animal in the ocean. I say, fuck it, I'm an eco-terrorist. Next, I'm going to every farm in America, destroying all the crops. That's the type of bad guy I would be, bro. That's a real bad guy, bro. Don't that, all the shit that I just said, don't that get on your nerves? You know what I'm saying? If I burnt out all the weed in one day, you know how pissed? That's villainy. That is true villainy. I steal everybody's food stamp cards. I steal all the food stamp cards in America. That's villainy. That's villainy. I go into every single white shirt in America will have a stain on it, a visible stain. That is villainy. But we got some sports to talk about. We are in week 6 of the NFL. I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking with Saint. I appreciate you so much. You could be anywhere else in the world, but you chose to be here, and I truly do appreciate it. Now, we do have to break down the Thursday night game real quick, and we're about to do that. But it feels so good to be back, even though I ain't really been gone. Listen, Thursday night football was a doozy. I don't really like Thursday night football at the moment. It don't seem like we ever get good Thursday night football games. And the Chiefs did end up winning. I noticed that, you know, nobody's speaking on the fact that the Chiefs offense look god awful right now. I mean, I talked about Lamar Jackson fumbling the ball 7 times to this point in the season. Pat Mahomes stacking them picks up, ain't he? Feel like he throw an interception a game at this point. But, and I think one of the biggest things is I'm having troubles with the Broncos is, I mean, not the Broncos, with the Chiefs is, it really don't matter what defense they play against, it feel like. They're going to throw some picks. Because the Broncos, one of the worst defenses, if not the worst defense in football. They still found, and Pat Mahomes had a pick in this game. That's just one of them dumbass Pat Mahomes throws. But I can't really get mad at him because when you are asked to be Superman all the time, why would I get mad when you decide to put the cape on? When we ask you to put it on so much. Like, it's not like we ask this man to put the cape on once every 20 games or once every 20 days. It's more like put that bitch on every day and don't take it off till we tell you to. When we tell you to take it off, oh, you got a minute of reprieve, put it back on. So I'm not finna get mad at Pat Mahomes for that. They still did end up winning this game in a close one. But I want to talk about the Broncos. Their season is over. There's no way they bouncing back. The whole team looked bad. Steve Smith and Jerry Jeudy had a thing on the sideline. I find it interesting when players get so offended by, now Steve Smith is kind of aggressive with his, critique of players. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes he do get pretty aggressive. And I don't even agree with some of the stuff he say sometimes because I feel like sometimes he'll defend a player, but he'll get tired of defending the player and he'll start like going. But when it comes to receivers, I understand Steve Smith will be a Hall of Fame receiver. I love Steve Smith, one of my favorite receivers to watch growing up. And I actually agree with a lot of his criticism or his critique of, I can't even remember this man's name, Jerry Jeudy. I don't really like how Jerry Jeudy responded to him, but I get how Jerry Jeudy responded to him. If I was Jerry Jeudy's age, I probably would do the same thing. And I'm not old or nothing like that, but I am at the point where I understand, like, people got a job to do. They got to critique you. As long as they're not taking personal shots, as long as they're not saying outlandish things or just straight up lying, it's hard to have a problem with it. Now, I know when you're in the midst of it, it's hard to take constructive criticism. It's hard to take people critiquing you and all that type of stuff. So I understand where Jerry Jeudy coming from. To be honest with you, what I like the least about the whole situation is Steve Smith telling the world what happened. That really could have remained a private conversation, but whatever. Either way, I understand the people who saying Jerry Jeudy acted like a child, but it's like y'all keep forgetting they make millions, but they are in their early 20s, bro. Most of these dudes. How was y'all acting in y'all early 20s? Hell, how are some of y'all acting now in y'all early 30s, late 30s, early 40s? So I don't understand the constant critiquing of Jerry Jeudy. But as far as how he responded to the situation, for the simple reason, I know when I was that age, hell, probably 2-3 years ago, I probably would have responded to Steve Smith the same way. If I saw somebody talking crazy about me on the internet, regardless if it's their job or not, when I see you, it's probably smoke. I ain't gonna lie. I'm probably not gonna have a great reaction to you. But I remember watching a show where a dude was killing people. He was like, I would never kill a cop because a cop was doing their job. Well, he didn't say I'd never kill a cop. It was on the show, The Blacklist. He said, I wouldn't kill you because you was just doing your job. He said, I'm killing these dirty cops who wasn't. Because of some cops that stole this dude's money when he went to prison and when he got out, a big time crime lord. We so far away from the situation, though, that this is not what we talk about. Listen. When you talk about the Jerry Jeudy, Steve Smith situation, I saw Michael Irvin and them boys talk about it's so disappointing. 2 black men. I try not to always hit them with the, oh man, it's disappointing 2 black men, because I have to understand that people are still human beings at the end of the day, and color ain't got nothing to do with people being human beings at the end of the day at certain points in certain situations. But yeah, did I love it? Nah, but in this world of entertainment, everybody else did. So it was people who love that more than they love the game, because ESPN, Fox, all these sports shows, these sports personalities, they basically turning sports into their side hustle. And it's a way to boost up their main hustle, which is them. Soap operas about them. So it's interesting. But when it comes to the Broncos offense, listen. I've been going at Sean Payton for about, 2 years now? 3 years since I got on this? Sean Payton's offense is archaic, bro. I don't know what y'all don't see about it. I don't know who the supporters. When they hired Sean Payton in the offseason, I did not think it was a great hire. But listen, if you continue to live off of the Super Bowl that this man won damn near 2 decades ago, then he'll never be a bad coach to you. But if you go off of his recent resume, then it's clear Sean Payton needs to improve his offense, his philosophy. This game plan that he do where he put a leash on his quarterback, he handcuff him, he don't allow him to really go out there and ball. Yeah, this ain't Drew Brees. Constantly trying to fit every player that you get into the Drew Brees. He did it to Jameis. Now he doing it to Russ. And I'm not sitting here telling you that Russ is not a good, playing bad. Russ is playing decent, but he not playing good enough to where he changing the outcomes for his team. I told you it was going to be a rough year for Russ, because Russ is not a quarterback who is known for playing from the pocket. And it's a big reason I get real irritated when I listen to the media, because they'll tell you that Lamar Jackson need to learn how to play from the pocket. Well, Lamar Jackson, most of the time, is exclusively playing from the pocket. Russell Wilson, a guy who for years you would have thought played great from the pocket, because that's what the media would have led you to believe, through not talking about what he actually do on the field to over exaggerating some of the things he do on the field. Russell Wilson is not great at just playing from the pocket. Russell Wilson's game has always been, when the play break down, backyard football. I get outside the pocket. All these receivers get open for me when chaos is abound. And then we have a Legion of Boom defense that can shut shit down on the other side. That is the success, and having a dominant run game. i.e. Marshawn Lynch. Putting Russell in an offense where he got to just straight up drop back, scan the field, make decisions. You ain't winning like that. Also, if Russell's athleticism really has dissipated, Russell Wilson is not going to be the same quarterback. And I'm not just talking about look-alike. The production won't be the same either, which is why I believe it is so important to have an offensive-minded coach who is up to date on the NFL. Sean Payton's still running his offense like he in the 2010s, 2000s. That's not how you win in the NFL now. They go out there, they get outscored every week. They can't put together consistent scoring drives. The defense can't stop nobody, so you expect for the offense to be that much better. They don't get anything from a group of receivers who 2 years ago, 3 years ago, people thought was good. Jerry Jeudy might hate the stuff that Steve Smith's saying, but he should hate his production more than he hate what Steve Smith's saying. Because the fact of the matter is the production is not there. I might not have went as far as Steve Smith went to just basically turn it into an insult match on TV. But the fact of the matter is you might not like what he said, but what he said is going to end up being true. They are going to move on from Jerry Jeudy quickly. Because what has he given them since being drafted that would warrant them keeping him? Nothing. And you could say he's been put in the wrong offense and all this other type of stuff. But these ain't the dudes that drafted him. And he done been given multiple years. We done seen hella receivers come into offenses that might not be offenses for them and have success. It's a weak argument for a receiver to be in all honesty. So Steve Willie wasn't lying. It was no falsehood in what he said. So when you look at this Broncos team, man, I just think they held back by a lot of things. Lack of talent, depreciating talent, bad coaching. And I think the biggest problem with the team right now got to be the coaching. Like you can make an argument it's the coaching and it's the quarterback. Care less about the defense. The defense was good last year. They was still trash. The defense bad this year. They're still trash. So clearly the defense makes absolutely no difference. This offense, however, and this coaching, it was bad coaching last year. Not a good offensive game plan. It's worse this year. And people don't want to admit it because it's Sean Payton. But Nathaniel Hackett was on every airway getting crushed when they were bad to start the season. Sean Payton, it should be happening to him too. I do not care about that Super Bowl he won all those years ago. I would never try to take that away from him or dumb down or play it down. However, in a league where I'm told that you're supposed to constantly update your resume, Sean Payton has not been forced to do that. He was allowed to bow out of that Saints job once Drew Brees retired a year later, and then get a job that he thought was a promising job a year after his retirement was over. So, I think the Broncos made the wrong decision in trading for Russ, clearly, which was not a decision, was not something that I could have known, or I don't think most people would have known that before that season last year. But that has turned out to be a bad move. To me, the worst move was hiring Sean Payton just because of his name. It's no way the Broncos looked at Sean Payton or talked about his offensive philosophy and whatnot and said, oh, yeah, we like that. That's why we hiring him. They hired Sean Payton because of that Super Bowl he won 2 decades ago, damn near, and because of the past success he had with New Orleans. Newsflash for the owners of the Broncos. This ain't New Orleans. Drew Brees ain't there. Bush ain't there. All those defenders that's on the Saints ain't there. Those stud receivers and running backs and offensive line that Sean Payton had ain't there. This is a completely different team. And you hired a coach and I understand most people get jobs because of past success and things like that. But if you had looked at Sean Payton's past success, you would have known this don't really fit our timeline right now. They still hired him. His offense is not really conducive to winning. Did he update the offense? He didn't. And now you're looking at a Dallas team that's winning because of a great a great defense. But when it was come time for them to play last week against a team that could bring to the field a good defense and a great offense, great defense, their offense couldn't do anything because it's an archaic offense. Mind you, Mike McCarthy is wild. Okay? Wild for thinking Tony Pollard could just be a bell cow back, because that's kind of what he's trying to do with this offense. Turn Tony Pollard into basically a running back that's, you know, for a fact is going to give you a positive production every week, and that's what's going to help everything else out. Why would you turn your offense into that when it didn't rely on him before and it was a successful offense? All you needed was for Dak to cut down on the turnovers and play better in a big-time game. This ain't a why did you fire Kellen Moore? This is a why did you change the offensive philosophy this drastically? Because you handcuffing your quarterback. And I just, you know, two coaches continuing to bring their archaic ways of thinking. And it's ego at this point. It's ego. Your ego is saying, I don't care what these new age coaches is doing. I'm going to show you that you can still win a Super Bowl doing it my way. But you can't. Every quarterback, everybody is told to update and evolve. Except for coaches, apparently. Anyways, let's get to these games. I'm not happy about this London game, man. I'm not happy about it. It's Baltimore. It's Tennessee. It's 9 a.m, bro. I got to get up at what? Now I got to get up at like 8 o'clock to make sure I watch it. I'm not happy about that. But I'm taking Baltimore. And Henry is taking Baltimore also. Now, the Titans offense is just a very confusing offense. And I think Baltimore will be able to stifle this offense for the majority of the game. They might give up a drive or two at the end of the game or at some point in time in the middle. But this game is about Baltimore's offense. These receivers got to come out there and have a better game. Clearly got to have a better game. The production, the wane in production on a week-to-week basis, I really think that Baltimore continue to put together cast of characters that are actually hurting Lamar rather than helping him. Because he still do not. The only player on the field that can make Lamar feel like he don't got to be Superman is Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews still got a drop problem here and there. So, especially in big drops. But, you know, it's hard for me to talk about Baltimore right now because I've done a lot of talking about them the last couple of videos, plus of my irritation with them because I don't understand the offensive. I don't understand the Baltimore's front office, bro. I just don't. I saw somebody tweet, and I'm at the point where Baltimore fans just cannot be watching these games. There's no way. I saw a dude tweet the other day, Justin Hill has been balling. Keep giving him more touches. Increase his carries. What? He done had a fumble like every fucking game. What are you talking about? I am confused. Baltimore had a team meeting this week. Listen, I really don't got nothing positive to say about Baltimore. I'm just ready to see this game to see how I'm going to talk about them afterwards. That's my thoughts on the Baltimore Ravens. But don't worry. If you think that I'm not going to tear these motherfuckers apart just because they my team, you got nothing to worry about. There might be somebody out here listening saying, oh, man, you tear apart my team all the time. Why? Well, you just don't watch this show often because I be ripping Baltimore far more than I rip y'all teams. Unless you feel like I just be killing Justin Fields. But aside from that, I don't know if it's a team on this channel that get torn to pieces more than Baltimore. And Baltimore is better than most of the teams that I don't tear to pieces. So if you want to hear me rip apart Baltimore, don't worry. Lose this game. And tune in next episode. And you'll see exactly what you wanted to see. The 1 o'clock games. You got Minnesota and Chicago. Henry is taking Chicago. I am also taking Chicago. But the only reason I'm taking Chicago is because Minnesota got a bad defense. Plus, Minnesota does not have Justin Jefferson. He is on IR. So, therefore, I am not taking Minnesota. I also think Minnesota realized we want Caleb Williams. We might need to start losing some games to get Caleb Williams to make sure the Bears don't get him. I'm going to tell you right now, the worst scenario for the Bears is that Justin Fields played decent or good through these bad games and they win them. But then he started to look the same through when they play competent teams again and they miss out on the first round pick because then you stuck with Justin Fields again and another team will get Caleb Williams. And I got a feeling that's exactly what's going to happen. Chicago's defense, not good. However, I expect them to make a couple plays because the Vikings love to play these football games as if the first half does not exist, as if it's only a half of football to be played or a quarter of football to be played. It's ridiculous. They like to turn the ball over. The Vikings are, to me, it feel like the Vikings keep regressing, even though last year their record didn't tell you that they were regressing. I said coming into the season, though, they won, 9 games last year by 1 score? I said you could flip that and they could lose 9 games by 1 score this year. And it's happening. So I'm not shocked by that. This to me it could be an entertaining game because I don't really have faith in either defense. But it'll be interesting. I'm intrigued. Chicago should win this game, though. Because it's a confusing pick because both teams actually could use Caleb Williams. But speaking from the perspective of a blinded Chicago fan, if Justin Fields is it, you got to win this game. Now, I know you celebrated hard getting your first win in about what feels like 2 seasons last week. And you had 2 weeks off, it feels like. So I expect Chicago to actually come out rusty to start this game, but to pick it up quick because Minnesota's defense is just not a force. New Orleans is in Houston, and I was going to take New Orleans at first, but I changed my mind. I'm taking Houston. Henry is taking New Orleans. Listen, like I said, love New Orleans defense. They do got players who are getting older, so those players they don't have that step that they had last year, the year before that, and all that, obviously. However, Derek Carr having the game he had last week does nothing for me. And I'm even speaking from a perspective of a dude who believes the Texans' offense is not a prolific offense either. That's not even fair to say. It's not an offense that knows how to get down the field every drive or for the majority of their offensive drives. They're not going to know. They will more than likely not score on the majority of their offensive drives, but they will probably be able to put together 2.5 great drives. I don't know if it'll be enough to beat the Saints. However, if Derek Carr come in there playing like he is CJ Stroud's counterpart, then it will be enough to beat the Saints. Even though the Saints have the better talent on offense, even though they're supposed to have a better quarterback, I'm still taking Houston at home because this is the type of defense that Derek Carr will go in there and struggle against. I think the Patriots are just washed at this point. That's why I picked them to finish last in their division. I just think that's a wash. Maybe they need to try to finish last to get Caleb Williams. But if I'm Caleb Williams and the Patriots had a number 1 pick, I'm going back into college. It's no shot I'm finna be on the team with Bill Belichick and them boys after seeing what they just did to Mac Jones. Seeing how their egos ran rampant all these years after Tom Brady to where they have no interest in evolving and updating their resumes or upgrading the way they call games and things like that. No shot that I'm trying to be a New England Patriot. I am disexperienced seeing New England, what they did to Mac Jones. I don't know if I would ever want another quarterback to be drafted to New England. Not a good one. They're going to have to find them a Brock Purdy type because I don't trust no quarterback with New England now. And I also believe it was all Tom at this point. I just want to put that out there. I was at 80%. I'm at 100% sure it was Tom and them other players, not Bill. That's where I'm at now. But I'm taking Houston in that game because that defense, in my opinion, will be able to do more against Derek Carr. I actually think I keep telling you how good Houston's defense is. But aside from the secondary that I always rave about, I actually like some of these other players on this. I like the draft pick that they draft. I constantly forget this man's name. But I like a couple of their linebackers. I like Houston is putting together a hell of a defense, and it don't hurt to have D'Amico Ryans as your head coach also. San Fran and Cleveland. Me and Henry are both taking San Fran. Deshaun Watson is not playing in this game. Cleveland coming off a bye. Deshaun will not play in this game, so who knows what's going on. He was cleared to play 1 week. This is wild. If this is about to be like a breakdown of trust and communication and problems abound with Cleveland and Deshaun, this is going to be crazy. Now, clearly you expect Deshaun will be there longer than Kevin Stefanski. This will probably be Kevin Stefanski's last year, especially if they finish last in the division again. But clearly we don't really got to talk too much about the game. We know who we taking in the game. San Fran is the better team all the way around. And after seeing what Lamar did to Cleveland's defense, why would I think Brock Purdy would do any less? Brock Purdy, to me, is about to become the new Tom Brady as far as they found a diamond in the motherfucking rough. I keep watching them. And listen, I'm not overhyping them. I'm not going to do that because I understand that you got white dudes out there already doing that. However, bro, if you just looking at the tape, Brock Purdy is playing great football. Like, I'm sorry. I know there's people out there who don't want to give Brock Purdy any type of credit. I get it. But this motherfucker's balling. He hitting the people who getting open. The guys is running great routes and he getting the ball to him like a quarterback's supposed to. He not trying to do too much. Do he have times where he look a little rocky? Yes, every quarterback does. I would like to remind you. Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow. None of them have looked perfect this year. Every great quarterback still going to struggle. Tom Brady struggled through his time in the NFL. Every drive's not going to be a perfect drive. To expect the quarterback to always play a perfect game is insane to me. Brock Purdy has been phenomenal. I think Brock Purdy should be in the MVP race also. Would I put him over Christian McCaffrey right now? Absolutely not. It is so very clear Christian McCaffrey is the MVP of that offense right now. However, and I understand somebody out there who will say, well, you know, it's Kyle Shanahan and all the motion and blah, blah, blah. Brock still have to do. And listen, maybe to most people, Brock Purdy is just a better version of Alex Smith. I don't see that right now. I think he is just better than Alex Smith right now. And there's no shot at Alex Smith. And I know people say, well, look at the talent, look at the coach and blah, blah, blah. Listen, being asked to do what he is being asked to do, he is doing it to the absolute highest level. And that's all I can judge right now. Y'all call Joe Burrow the absolute best quarterback in football. On every other week, he played good. And he got hella talent around him. So I'm not really trying to hear that shit. Indy. Jacksonville. Me and Henry are both taking Jacksonville. The biggest reason being Anthony Richardson will not be playing. He won't be playing for the next couple weeks. A shoulder injury. I am interested to see how this play out the rest of the year with Anthony Richardson. He done went down, it feel like, every single game, whether it be due to a concussion or now this injury. So I'm interested to see how the Colts end up managing him. This looking real Andrew Luckish real early. So if you're a Colts GM, owner, coach, you got to be weary of, oh boy, you know, we had a quarterback who we felt was it ain't no felt. Andrew Luck was him. We had a quarterback, and he might not be the talent of Andrew Luck, but he done been pretty good for us to start the season. And he getting hurt a lot. So I am very interested to see how the Colts handle this the rest of the season and in the offseason, getting Anthony Richardson bigger, stronger, and teaching him like, yo, got to go down. Because Anthony Richardson have taken some bad hits this year that he could have avoided. He play a lot like Cam. I don't think he bigger than Cam, though. So that'll be interesting to see how that end up playing out the rest of the season with that. But Jacksonville looked great last week. This is the Trevor Lawrence that I've been wanting to see. And I do think it's a divisional game and that they will have times in this game where they look bad. But I do believe that they'll carry that momentum from beating Buffalo into this week beating it. They have to go on a run to establish some type of dominance in a shaky division. Because right now you still got people thinking that the Colts can win this division. And they would be right. So the Jacksonville Jaguars, to me, need to start ramping it up, establishing some type of dominance. And I think that starts this week in Jacksonville. And Henry do too. Washington is in Atlanta. Me and Henry both taking Washington. I'm not picking Desmond Ridder on a back. Well, I didn't pick him last week, even though I wanted to, but I didn't want to pick him because of Desmond. I just had that strong feeling the Texans would lose that game. And I still didn't choose him. But I am, the thing with Atlanta is the offense. I understand the offense can basically go out there and run the ball at any given moment down your throat. But they can't go out there and pass the ball and put together scoring drives every drive at will and do that. So that's a problem. The defense. It ain't been terrible. But I mean, it's just the same thing I say. A defense that's really bad a defense that's bad, but you don't know they bad yet because they haven't really shown you how bad they are because they haven't had to play competition that would show you this defense is not competent enough. Yeah, it's going to be like that again this week because they play another offense that's a struggling offense that who knows how they'll get those points, when they'll get those points, and it just is what it is. They went out there and got mopped by a bad offense 2 weeks ago in Chicago. So, listen, when you got a team that clearly is not consistent on offense, never consistent on defense, and the coach does not change anything, any fortune for the team, you got yourself a clusterfuck. And that's exactly what this game is. But somehow I'm taking Washington also because I just think they will. I was about to say they'll make a play on defense, and then I had to remember how inconsistent their defense is. But maybe this will be the week that they bring some they won't bring consistency, but they will bring a game defensively this week, I believe. Carolina is in Miami, and we continue the trend of me not picking Carolina. And Henry ain't either. Me and Henry are both taking Miami. I just don't see Carolina being able to score nowhere near the amount of points that they need to score to beat Miami. They won't. Miami, like I continue to tell you, Miami's defense is not special, but it'll look special against an offense that just does not know how to get down the field consistently. I don't think Bryce Young is a bust. I think Bryce Young is in probably one of the worst situations that any of the rookies got drafted into this year. And it's really a shame, to be completely honest with you, because Carolina could have done things to improve the talent around Bryce Young before he got there. They chose not to. So I think Carolina need to go draft a running back or go get another running back. Christian McCaffrey is officially a huge loss because none of your running backs behind him or that's now there now are nowhere near as good as him. And I'm not trying to compare none of them to Christian McCaffrey. I'm comparing what Christian would bring to this quarterback right now. None of them are doing for CJ. I mean, none of those running backs are doing for Bryce what Christian would be doing for Bryce. That's one. Brock Purdy don't look bad. Brock Purdy looked good as he looked because of how great Christian is playing. The offensive line for Carolina is terrible. The defense, I don't know how it went from what it was last year to what it is this year. I truly believe Carolina need to look into trading away some of those pieces on defense. And why am I saying that? Well, I told it to you earlier. There was a team last year who had a great defense. There's a team this year who got a bad one. That team is the Broncos. They sucked last year. I mean, they sucked on offense last year and this year. You want to know what they didn't suck at in both years? Defense. They were great last year. They were terrible this year. They still sucked both years. Defense clearly does not matter unless you play great defense in spots. We've seen multiple defenses without the big names of us everywhere, i.e. the Texans, still be great defenses. I truly believe that Carolina need to go ahead and trade away Brian Burns. They need to go ahead and trade away Derek Brown. They need to go ahead and trade away Shaq Thompson. Matter of fact, I don't even know if Shaq playing no more this year if he hurt injury reserve. I need to recheck that. But Carolina, and then they lost James Bradbury for nothing if I'm remembering correctly. So Carolina need to go ahead and start rebuilding up the defense through the draft and trying to put the money and great trades and signings for top tier talent to help Bryce. Because when I'm looking at how bad Carolina's defense is this year, run defense, pass defense, awful. I don't quite understand why I would keep marching that shit out there and not trying to piece together or not trying to use those pieces, those big name pieces, and as trade opportunities before their leverage starts to drop. That's what I would do if I was Carolina. And I think they're in a good position to do it because you need talent on that offensive side of the ball. You need to rebuild that line. You need to rebuild the skill positions. You need to go out and get a more reliable running back. Listen, you might be stuck with Frank Wright for the next 2 years. I still don't understand that hiring, to be completely honest with you, but whatever. Miami should end up winning this game, though. The last 1 o'clock game is Seattle and Cincinnati. This was a tough one. Henry is taking Seattle, and at first I was going to take, I don't know who I'm picking yet. First I was going to take Seattle, but then I'm like, man, Cincinnati, they at home. I don't really trust Geno that much. And I know Cincinnati been playing bad, and I'm not overhyping what they did against Arizona either. But the pass defense haven't been what I wanted it to be so far this year for Seattle. I'm going to take Seattle. I'm going to take Seattle also. I do think Seattle will find a way to come in Cincinnati and win for the simple reason Cincinnati is just not the same defense that it's been over the last couple years. Also, the offense still struggled in that last game. They did get it going eventually, but they started off pretty slow. Plus, it was against the Cardinals, bro. The Cardinals played tough, and then they remember we trying to get this number 1 pick. So I'm not too concerned about that. Against all the good teams they didn't play, they didn't look bad. They look bad every game this year so far, aside from the game against the Cardinals, because they even look bad in the win against the Rams. I'm taking Seattle. I think and Seattle, to me, is not a team that's all the way figured it out on offense either. But I do believe their defense will have a better game than. Plus, I love those cornerbacks for Seattle. So, yeah, I'm taking Seattle. I think Seattle's cornerbacks will have a better all-around game than the defense altogether for the Broncos, for the Bengals. The 4 p.m. slate games. New England is in Vegas taking on the Raiders. Josh McDaniels will take on his former head organization. I'm taking Vegas. Not confident in neither of these two teams. I think both teams should be trying to lose, to be honest with you. But the Raiders clearly is not trading off those players on that team, so it is what it is. I do believe the Raiders will end up winning a very slow, sloppy type of game. I can imagine multiple turnovers in this game from both teams. But I do think Vegas will end up winning it. Henry also thinks that because Vegas they can make the explosive play if they have to. New England cannot. Philly is in New Jersey to take on the Jets. Me and Henry both took Philly, but I just want to put it out there. While I do have Philly winning this game, this would not be a wild upset to me for the simple reason New York's defense, bro. As long as New York's defense come into a game and they play their best game, they give the Jets a chance to win. It ultimately will always come down to, can the offense be competent enough to score enough points to where the defense can close out the game for them? I don't think that will happen because I just feel like the Eagles can play an ugly game, a slow game, a fast game, a beautiful game. Like, it don't matter. They can figure out a way to win any type of game because they have the talent. So even if this become a turnover heavy game or a game where Jalen Hurts ain't playing his best or a game that feel like it's being bogged down because the defense of the Jets is just too good, I still feel as though the Eagles will find a way to make a play that will win them this game. So I'm taking Philly along with Henry. Detroit is in Tampa Bay. We are both also taking Detroit. I think it'll be a closer game than people think. Like, not closer in the sense that, oh, it's going to come down to the wire. I think it'll be a close game throughout, though. I think, like, this will be well, it depends on what version of Baker midfield you get. Is you going to get the good Baker midfield or is you going to get the regular Baker midfield, basically? And so if you get the good one, I think they can lose this game by probably a touchdown or two and be in it throughout the entire game because they still have talent in Tampa Bay. Which is why it's weird to me that they didn't go all out to try to go bring in a quarterback that they knew for a fact could change their fortunes because they still have talent on the offense and defensive side of the ball. This is not a team that can rebuild because they have too much talent on the team to be rebuilding. They legitimately just need a quarterback. So very interesting team right now when it comes to the Tampa Bay because they can't rebuild. It's too much talent on the team. You would have to trade away a lot of talent. I'm talking about, it's about 4 pieces on the offense that could get traded for great value and a lot of pieces on defense that you could trade away for great value. And some of these pieces is young. So it's very confusing season for Tampa. Maybe this is just a reprieve year after Brady. But yeah, they one of the teams I'm interested in seeing what happened with them going forward. Because they got a lot of talent on their team still. They just don't have a quarterback. Arizona Rams. If the Rams don't win this fucking game, buddy, if the Rams don't win this fucking game, the Cardinals going to be competitive. But at some point in time, the Cardinals going to remember they want that top pick. The Rams better win this fucking game. And that's all I got to say about that. The Sunday night game, we got the Giants. I don't know how the Giants keep getting these motherfucking primetime games. But they take on Buffalo. Not going to take too long to talk about this. Buffalo done lost a lot. They still should beat the Giants. Me and Henry both agree on that. It's no shot. And I don't even know if Daniel Jones will be playing in this game, as a matter of fact. The Giants ain't winning this game. You don't need me to break down that too much. You don't watch the Giants like I have this year. And Dallas Chargers. Now, me and Henry both took Dallas. The biggest reason I took Dallas because I believe Dallas play pretty good and bounce back games after they lose. Plus, I think Dallas is an all-around better team than the Chargers also. However, this will be the Kellen Moore game, I guess you could say. It would not shock me if the Cowboys once again struggle on offense and that Chargers offense light them up. But I don't think the Chargers offense will. Because as good as Kellen Moore is, he ain't Kyle Shanahan. And he don't run. He cannot break apart that Dallas defense, in my opinion, the way Kyle did. But I'm very interested to see if he can. Haven't seen too many people be able to do it. Kyle Shanahan didn't even destroy that Dallas defense last year in the playoffs. He did this week, last week, though. So I'm interested to see how that ultimately play out. I'm not taking the Chargers for the simple reason. Henry also didn't send me none of his reasons this week. And he sent me might send reasons. I just want to let y'all know he didn't. All right. So when I'm going over this and y'all don't hear me giving Henry's reasons once again, I just want y'all to know Henry intentionally did not send me his reasons because he hates y'all. Now I'm lying. But you should still believe me like Charlemagne said, because like Charlemagne said, a liar that will tell you he lying is somebody that you should believe. And just to be frank with y'all, Henry specifically told me in the message, might send reasons, might not. Fuck the fans. Now I'm lying, but you should still believe me like Charlemagne said. And with that, I appreciate y'all for joining me on another episode of Kicking It with Saint. I'm so appreciative of y'all pulling up, kicking it with me. It means a lot to me. My heart is overwhelmed. Tell somebody you fuck with them. Tell somebody you love them. You can be anything in this world. Choose to be kind to somebody today for absolutely no reason. Go out there and make somebody's day. I fuck with you. I love you. Like, subscribe, share. Saint out.
I got the moves like hot sauce. Lil' mama taking the top off. I'm laying down getting topped off. After this, you know she getting knocked off. I know she loving the money, so I keep on thumbing and thumbing. She say she horny when she taking shots, so I keep them coming and coming. Now I'm putting dick in her tummy. Scoop her up like I'm raking her something. You would think shawty red track, the way that she running and running. You getting dumber and dumber. You out here chasing the bone. After she finished from giving me dome, the Uber is taking her home. Tight.